Think of the most disliked person at work and the most respected. 1. The cruel fact: both of them hold real influence. The feared and the admired move the room the exact same amount. But one of the two roads has a bill attached. And crueler still, the people on that road never find out. He has no idea he is that person. Would you? This is the status mistake that makes people dislike you. It is 10:04 on a Tuesday, 8 people around a conference table. One of them talks over everyone, twice as loud and 3 times as often. He interrupts the junior analyst mid-sentence and restates her idea as his. The room goes quiet, and the quiet gets counted as agreement. He wins the meeting, like he wins most meetings. Now watch 12:30. Nobody asks him to lunch. 2 floors down sits a senior engineer who has not raised her voice in years. People line up at her desk with questions she never demanded to be asked. Same company, same rank. So why does he collect silence and she collects visits? There are exactly 2 ways to make traffic pass through you. Build a toll gate across their road, or become a place worth driving to. Remember the toll gate. It explains every boss you have ever hated. And before you file him under other people, recall the last argument you won too hard. The point landed. The room went quiet, and something warm left the evening. That silence was a toll being paid. You have run a gate too, in small change. In 2001, 2 anthropologists mapped every route humans take to status and found exactly 2 roads. The first road is older than our species: dominance. Status taken through fear, the ability to make your day worse. Gorillas run it, wolves run it, and so does the man at the 10:04 meeting. The second road barely exists outside humans: prestige. Status given freely to people worth learning from. The paper's own phrase for it: freely conferred deference. Deference is the fee humans pay to stand near someone worth copying. In a species that survives on learned skill, a seat near the skilled is worth real money. So evolution built a second ladder: impress us, and we carry you up ourselves. Prestige is why your species has teachers and apprentices at all. Nobody makes you admire the senior engineer. Your attention just walks to her desk. They named the 2 roads dominance and prestige. Dominance is taken, prestige is given. 2 separate systems, 2 separate evolutionary origins, running side by side in every office. Which raises the obvious question: do civilized rooms still pay the fear road at all? And in 2013, a lab raced both roads in the same room. That result is the uncomfortable one. In 2018, researchers staged a tiny status contest for an audience of toddlers. 2 puppets cross a stage in opposite directions and meet in the middle. Somebody has to give way, the oldest conflict there is. In version 1, a puppet bows, steps aside, and the winner walks through. Afterward, the toddlers get to reach for the puppet they like. 20 of 23 reach for the winner. Toddlers respect status. No one had to teach them. In version 2, the same winner wins differently. It knocks the other puppet down. Same victory, different road. 18 of 22 now reach for the loser. They refuse the forceful winner before they can say the word force. 5 more versions of the show ruled out every boring explanation. Not the noise, not the falling, not the puppet's face, the road itself. The detector ships from the factory, installed before language. You cannot argue with a 2-year-old's verdict. You can only trigger it. So the detector is real, but in a modern room, which road actually wins? In 2013, 5 psychologists raced the 2 roads against each other in the same room. 191 strangers, 36 small groups, 1 game. Rank 15 items to survive a crash on the moon. The game has right answers, so influence can be measured, not just felt. Rank was scored 3 ways: by the players, by their peers, and by observers watching the tapes. Some players pushed, pressure, interruption, the toll gate. Others were simply worth listening to, and the room leaned toward them. Result 1. The 2 roads are unrelated. Knowing how dominant someone is tells you nothing about their prestige, and vice versa. Result 2 is the uncomfortable one. Both roads bought the same amount of influence. The group's final answers bent toward the feared exactly as much as toward the admired. A follow-up put eye trackers on 59 viewers. Both types pulled the room's gaze. From the outside, the 2 roads look identical. Eyes on you, nods, wins. Then came the liking scores. The prestigious were liked, strongly. The dominant scored a flat. The room obeys the toll gate. It just does not like it. And here is the detail that should worry the likable. Liking bought no extra influence at all. Being adored and being obeyed turned out to be separate ledgers. Which leaves a puzzle. If this road makes you hated, why does anyone still take it? In 2009, 2 psychologists watched 100 students solve math problems in groups. Business school entrance math. Every question has exactly 1 right answer. The dominant members spoke first, spoke often, and sounded certain. Their actual answers were no more correct than anyone else's. The pattern had already appeared in an earlier study with strategy problems and no right answers. But teammates rated them the most competent people at the table. Even the trained research staff, watching the tapes later, fell for it. The room graded confidence as if it were correctness. That is why the gate gets built. Acting certain is cheaper than being right. The bluff collects real tolls, so the bluff spreads. But surely a confident boss is harmless. The group still wins, right? In 2010, 2 psychologists gave people a leader's chair and then shook it. Small task groups, 1 leader each. Half were told their position was safe. The other half were told they could be replaced. The shaky chair. The group solved word puzzles, and the leader held the best clues. Dominance-driven leaders on shaky chairs kept the good clues to themselves. The same leaders on safe chairs shared everything. The greed lived in the wobble, not the person. Their own group solved less, and they led it. Then it got darker. When one member was clearly the most talented, those same leaders moved to exclude exactly that person. Not the weakest link, the strongest. The gatekeeper heard a bypass was coming and burned the blueprints. 1. Twist inside the twist. Give the group an outside rival, and the same leaders snapped back to sharing. A common enemy opens the gate. A quiet Tuesday keeps it shut. That was one hidden clue. How far will a threatened gatekeeper actually go? In 2014, the same lab caught the whole playbook. 4 experiments. Leaders threatened again. And this time, researchers watched the seating charts. The threatening subordinate was no rumor. The leaders saw scores near 90%. Threatened, dominance-driven leaders physically seated that person away from the others. They cut communication between subordinates and blocked alliances before they formed. Told directly that cooperation would improve results, they kept dividing anyway. Prestige-driven leaders. Same threat, same chairs, never did any of it. You have seen the civilian version. The 2 best people on a team who are never in the same meeting. A toll gate fights every new road. A destination welcomes them. If your best work keeps getting kept away from the room, you may be somebody's bypass. Still, maybe being disliked is just the entry fee of power. Maybe it never comes due. In 2019, 5 researchers followed real student teams for 16 weeks. Not a 1-hour lab game, a full semester of working together. 16 weeks, roughly the length of one probation period at a new job. Everyone rated everyone again and again as the weeks passed. In week 1, both roads climbed. Fear worked and admiration worked. Then the weeks did their work. Only prestige kept raising a person's rank over time. Dominance stopped paying. The same move that won September bought nothing by December. Prestige did the opposite. Rank earned this month minted more prestige than next. One road compounds, the other road erodes. It also explains why first impressions lie. The early weeks genuinely reward the gate. Remember the logo rule. Logos only worked on strangers. Fear has the same customer base, and a semester makes strangers scarce. The toll road empties one detour at a time, which leaves the strangest question of the night. Why does he never notice? So go back to the 10:04 meeting and sit in the loud man's chair. From that chair, the numbers all look wonderful. Eyes on him, nods, wins. The same dashboard prestige would show. The 2013 lab proved the 2 roads pay identical attention and identical influence, which means the difference is invisible from the inside. Compliance and admiration send the exact same signals to the person receiving them. He reads collected tolls as gifts. Ask him who his allies are, and he will list his hostages. Now the part that should keep you honest. One day that chair is yours. A title arrives, people agree with you faster, and the same dashboard lights up. Nothing on it will say whether they admire you or merely manage you. And the audit never arrives because nobody corrects a toll gate. People do not argue with gates, they root around them. The routing has modern names. The transfer request, the slow reply, the meeting that shrinks. Every exit is polite, which is exactly why the dashboard never moves. The meetings get emptier, the questions stop coming, and no one explains why. From the inside, fear looks exactly like respect, until the road empties. 2 letters before the road closes. The first is for the day you get the chair. You will not feel the road change under you. Nobody ever does. The test is not whether people agree with you. Both roads by agreement. The test is what happens on the day you cannot punish anyone. Ask who would still line up at your desk if the gate stood open. Not who obeys you at noon, who would still call you at midnight. The toddlers ran that audit at age 2, and your room runs it silently every day. Winning the meeting and winning the room are 2 different sports. A bigger title will not fix the reading. It only raises the toll. The disliked winner is not losing the game. He is winning the wrong one. The second letter is for everyone quietly paying at somebody's gate. Your silence in that meeting is being read upstairs as admiration. Compliance is the one currency that always gets miscounted. And notice where your feet already go. The desks you visit without being summoned. That is prestige being minted, and you are the mint. Deference is the only status currency that cannot be taken, only given. Fear can empty a room. It has never once filled one. The quiet engineer 2 floors down is rich in exactly the coin you keep handing her. The 10:04 meeting happens again tomorrow, and now you can read the roads. One man is collecting tolls that feel like respect. 2 floors down, traffic keeps arriving at a destination that never built a gate. If the chair is ever yours, remember, the gate is always the last to know. Respect was never one thing. It was always two things wearing the same face. Last episode asked what you were really racing. This one asked what they are really collecting. But there is a third illusion left on the table. Look around you. Everyone seems to have more money than you. Everyone cannot be above average, yet your eyes keep insisting. That arithmetic trick is the next unwritten rule.